Hi John, it's been quite a break. How are you guys feeling ahead of this weekend?
Yeah, all good. Kind of refreshed. Had a good time to work on the pitch. Get a few players back as well with more training time. So, yeah, we're in good shape. Looking forward to the game. It's been a kind of long time between the United game and now, but we've got a lot of work in that time as well. So the players are very motivated to get back on the pitch.
And what is the motivation this weekend from your point of view?
Motivation is purely building on what we've started, but going into a game like the weekend, it's important for everyone. It's Rangers have won the league this year. They obviously went on and did that, which they deserved. But for us, it's putting a marker down. That we've probably underperformed at times this year, so we need to show with the levels that we're capable of, and that's purely what we're going at the weekend for us to win the game and show the level we're capable of and build on that again.
And is there that desire there, that added edge to try and stop their unbeaten run in the league?
Again, it's not something we'll use as motivation. Our motivation will purely be taking the game in isolation, competing against your biggest rivals and putting a marker down in terms of what we do going forward now. What's been in the past has happened. Rangers have won the title. We could accept that, but it's about moving forward and not just accepting that's going to be the norm. It's about us then, putting a marker down to say that this is where we go from now.
Is essentially a lot of it about pride for the players, John, in terms of when you're trying to motivate them? Obviously, you've got the Scottish Cup, but in terms of the league, it's about showing what the players are capable of.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what we've not done enough this year is showing our level, what we're truly capable of. And I've watched them in training the last few weeks and, I'm excited to see them at the weekend. A very highly motivated group who, want to, as I said, put down a marker, going to a big game, a derby game, which means a lot to not just us internally, but our support. And show what we're capable of and give the fans that back as well. So it's very much the motivations inside to go and deliver, both in result and performance for the group themselves and out with that for the fans who've been unable to attend the games this year as well.
Is it a good game for the players in terms of the fixture, and there is no extra motivation needed because winning that game is all the motivation that they need?
Yeah, it's it's not a game you have to get your motivational tools out for. It kind of takes care of itself in that respect. And actually, a lot of the time, you actually spend a lot of time reining them in a little touch this week. Make sure they don't, exert too much energy too early in the week. They're so eager to do well and get highly motivated that it's controlling that and then unleashing it at the right moment, which is obviously on Sunday. So, they've worked really well this week. Been really pleased with what we've got in the case of just now building into the game and preparing them for that and then hoping we come out the traps early.
John, do you have a message? Do you have a message to Celtic supporters before this match?
Yeah, listen. As always, for the game in isolation, it's about the aspect of staying at home because again, in our time here in this last year, it's been difficult. We've won our ninth title, we won a quadruple treble. The fans were very well behaved through that. Staying at home and everything else. So in terms of before the game, leading into the game, it's very much about staying safe, following the guidelines, and then when it comes game time, albeit it's behind a screen watching it on TV, it's very much about getting behind the team as best you can, and hopefully we can put on a performance we can be proud of and get the result which we really want.
Have you been officially informed that the game is going ahead?
I've not heard otherwise, so I'm fully prepared for it going ahead.
Has there been a degree of uncertainty about the fixture that's maybe affected preparations at all?
No, we've prepared fully on the game going ahead until we hear otherwise. But as far as I'm aware, it's good to go. So we're fully prepared for that.
How's your squad looking, John? Is everyone fit? How's James Forrest in particular?
James has been good. Again, we had a training match last weekend as well, which we managed to get more minutes in him. I did Neil Breton and just other guys who were coming back into it. We've got some training into Greg Taylor this week as well. So, yeah, the squad's good. The numbers are all back pretty much. Missing Mikey Johnson still, but in the main, the squad's strong.
Can I ask you about Scott Brown? He's been heavily linked with a move to Aberdeen as a coach. Has he said anything to you? First of all, has there been any official approach to him or the club? And has he said anything to you about it?
No, listen, I've spoke to him briefly on because of the speculation around it. But Scott's very committed to here. He's aware of the speculation. There's nothing concrete in that. And I'm sure come the end of the season, whatever Scott decides to do, he'll not be short of offers. He's very much an important player for us, an important captain, and we want to stay that way. even still, at his age, the impact he has on the squad on a daily basis on the training pitch and on the games is massive. So it's about keeping that. And Scott's an honest guy. He's in no rush to make any quick decisions, and I think he's quite calm about what the future holds for him. He wants to give his all to the end of the season and then evaluate where he's at. And obviously, us as a club would love him to continue here, but he'll be the one to make that decision then. But very much his focus is purely on this season and nothing else.
Has he said that he will not make any decision then until the season's over?
Yeah, just again, this is a casual conversation more than anything else, but he's a captain of the club. He's been here such a long time with great success, and he's not one to just walk away from that. So he's happy where he is. He's still delivering for us. He's still a very important figure for us, and we intend for it to stay that way.
Can you understand, I guess, if he is wanting to go into a coaching career, there is a temptation there, and I guess if that offer is indeed a viable one, it would be potentially one that you would have to consider.
It would be one you have to consider, but me having stepped to the other side, it's terrific, but maximise your playing time. He's the captain of a fantastic club in Celtic. He's had such a successful time, so I wouldn't be in too much of a rush to make that step, if I'm being honest.
John, can I ask you your thoughts on some of the events at Ibrox last night where there were allegations of racism, not only on the pitch but also on social media around it as well? I know some Celtic players have had suffered that over the past few years. There's work being done at the moment, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, there's a huge way to go. As you said, we've been victims of it ourselves. Some of our players have been racially abused and abused in a number of forms. And it's totally unacceptable, and something really needs to be done about it. I don't know the details of last night, but there's obviously allegations there. But it happens far too often. There's no place for it in society at all, never mind football. And it's something that needs to be, we get rid of as quickly as we can. But it's how you deal with that. These people, to have the platform, whether it be in social media or whatever else, to just attack players or anyone, such an easy way, it's totally unacceptable, and that needs to be dealt with very seriously.
Do you think it's important that unity is shown then across all clubs and all governing bodies?
100%. All governing bodies, all clubs, have to come together with this and support it. It's the only way it works is that everybody gets behind it. There's no point in small groups and some people involved, some people not. Everybody has to get on the same page with this, take it as seriously as we possibly can, and try and deal with it as best that it can be dealt with.
What are you expecting from Rangers, given they've had a couple of European games in between playing as well?
Say again, I missed you there, sorry.
What are you expecting from Rangers, given they've had a couple of European games in between?
Listen, Rangers are a good side. They've a very good season. We know how they play. We've obviously played them a couple of times already. But obviously the game the other night, from a physical point of view, it was very demanding, physical side, Slavia. So for us, it's trying to take the advantage of that as well. We'll be fresh going into the game with good energy, a good fit squad again. So it's how we impact the game, how we impose our style in the game. But we know what to expect. We know how Rangers set up. We know how to defend and how they like to attack. So again, it's making sure we're ready for that, and then using their intensity and energy in the game to try and have that impact.
John, you talk about them being, they had that tough game last night, perhaps a bit fatigued. Do you think they also might be down a bit at some of their second loss in all competitions, all campaigns? Do you think they could be vulnerable?
It's difficult to say till you get in that moment. It can also be that it spurs you on. And again, for Rangers' point of view, it's a derby match. So again, the motivation will be there. But we know the training week we've had. We've managed to control that. When you go into a game in especially European ties, physical and demanding as it is, it's difficult to control that. And we've been there ourselves. We've dealt with it a number of times where you go, games in short periods of times, and it can take its toll. But again, we just got to try and utilise that to our advantage, whether it is an advantage or not. We got to go out with maximum energy, make sure we're fully prepared and organised, and we impose our style in the game. That's the most important thing. In
terms of the game, do you expect it to be tight? Because the two this season have been tight. You've not created many chances, and also since Steven Gerrard has come to Ibrox, I don't think there's been more than 3 goals in a single Old Firm game.
Yeah, and again, Rangers they don't concede a lot of goals in the main. That's one of the things that they've really tightened up on. If you analyse them, they don't concede a lot of chance. They don't give up a lot of space in dangerous areas. And again, but it's up to us to make that work for our advantage in terms of pinning them back in, putting them under pressure, making them defend at the right moments, and just controlling them as much as we possibly can. It's always a tough game. It's been a challenging games, and always been tight so far. And it could very well be the same, but we'll just have to approach it with our intent, try our impact in the game, know what we're doing, and try and utilise the extra energy we might have getting into the game and try to take advantage of that.